I don't even know what's going on YouTube streets. To be honest with you, probably nobody's here because what is it, Friday night? Who wants to listen in on Friday night? I'm going to stop having a time set though for my lives because I seem to run approximately 30 minutes late each time. But I guess for a moment, I need a drink. Hold up. I need to figure out how to do. I'm so sorry. I was taking me a drink. So let's see. The glare is more than I can do. I don't know whether just to dive in or just sit here and talk to you, whoever you are, for a couple minutes. But I'm thinking that probably a lot of different stuff's going on YouTube. So probably the best thing for me to do is just to get right to this as if I'm talking to people actually instead of to basically myself. But let me just say that I uh, I found some comedy in there's someone that's on YouTube that so desperately would like to have their opinion told that they were putting it on every comment that someone made on one of my videos. So I figure since they're that up to, maybe they're wanting some what is Elaine said, 15 minutes of fame. Probably going to take me a good 15, 20 minutes just to read the darn thing. So I just figured I would go ahead and this evening I'll just make their day. And while I'm at it, kind of explain to the group that I belong to, the ones that feel 1000% that Karen Reed is innocent, and so many people won't listen. And I love being on the side of justice. So we've all been a little curious anyway as to how those on the other side believe she's guilty. It makes no sense, not to any of us, not to any of us that watch a trial, not to any of us that have followed Karen Reed, and certainly not to any of the people that have been involved in investigating this. I'm sure every FBI agent involved is sitting back laughing too. And I'm pretty sure that they're wishing there was more they could do. But Lowley Lowley proved, if nothing else, Lowley proved he can stand up in a court of law in front of the judge. I believe you have to take some form of oath, don't you, if you're a lawyer? You're supposed to act like you have some form of morals. I don't think you're allowed to actually get up and lie. I think that's kind of against what you're allowed to do. I know that you can stretch things and present things in manners that you know darn good and well did not happen, but as an attorney who wants to get your client off, you're willing to do anything in the world. So what we have on the opposite side of that is a prosecutor who thinks he's actually above the law, a prosecutor who's if his little buddies say, "Hey, you need to, jam up so and so." I think that's the terminology of nowadays is jam up. They say, "All right, man," and they get on that right away. Lowley's one of them guys, and Auntie Bev, yeah, prosecutorial misconduct. That's right. I mean, that's what he is. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. Y'all would not believe what a hard time I'm having lately just getting older. If I can give y'all some comedy, I guess I could. My daughter, I think she's starting to get scared. But you can look at it on the flip side and you can say, here's my comedy for today. I got a couple of them. I've always been afraid I was going to leave the house. I have false teeth, not because I'm old. It happened when I was pretty young. But for some reason, I have this fear that I'm going to go somewhere and not have my teeth in and not realize it. And kiss your behind, man. Today I was supposed to be going to an appointment. We got halfway to where we were going before I realized I didn't have my chompers in, had to go home. Oh my gosh. It was, uh, I did tell the person that we were meeting that I would give them a good laugh but they couldn't share it. So mercy. I can leave my house without my hearing aids and not have a problem because I say would anyway all the time, with or without the hearing aids. I think I have a mixture of hearing loss and what is it? Selective hearing, both at the same time. Then we get home after this beautiful day. My husband probably about I don't know when I first sat down. I scheduled this and then I went out of the room. Think I was going to have a cigarette. Well, my husband realized he lost his phone. We have an iPhone. Well, yeah, Apple. We have Apple. I guess we need to learn how to find my phone because we couldn't. So anyway, for those that will catch me on replay, I have a thing I want to share. I'm going to read and I'm going to answer everybody's question. To I'm going to answer the question that everybody has over what the McAlbert side, and I say McAlbert side because by reading this is it's either one of the McAlberts or it's one of their followers. So I'm going to try to help just a little bit with the window sharing this right here. Now, I'm not sharing it to give the person clout. I'm not sharing it to say that this person is right because 1000% this person is wrong. Even if they would have had anything written up in a smallest, slightest of form that would make any sense, I guess we could discuss that. But the problem is either they're just drinking all the Kool-Aid down on that end, or the worms have invaded the brains. You got two choices. I'm here to tell you, and I can say that because I've got proof right here. I've got proof as to what the side of the McAlberts think happened, and I'm going to read it because I think we're all curious as to what they think. So I'm gonna read it. I may have a few things to say during it, but I will. All pedestrian collision injuries on the right side, swollen right eyebrow, slice on right eyelid, abrasions on the right shoulder, abrasions on the right arm, bruise on top of the right hand, abrasions on the right side of the knee, broken whole piece of right tail light. Cops got right rattlesnake. You and your like can't picture I'm sorry. Any other pedestrian collision except being hit from the front of a car, meaning with a bonnet that's low to the ground, so an impact to the legs with all manner of other injuries due to being flung or falling off the bonnet of the car. Yawn. It's nobody's fault that you're also can't figure out how the back of John O'Keefe's head slammed onto the edge of the concrete curb, which caused the severe skull fractures. And then his brain slowly swelled while he froze to death. I do apologize, people, that at this point in time, that maybe my responses may seem like I'm joking. I'm not joking about what happened to Officer John O'Keefe. I am not making fun of what happened to Officer John O'Keefe. So let me just spell it out to you, though. I can't but help make fun of the theories regarding what happened to John O'Keefe. One would think that you would try to be pretty close to being able to explain to back up a comment like this. You know, we're the crazy ones because we don't believe this. Well, let me just go back up to this part right up here. Right here. That right there. It is nobody's fault that you also can't figure out how the back of John O'Keefe's head slammed onto the edge of the concrete curb, which caused the severe skull fractures, and then his brain slowly swelled while he froze to death. Sweet Pea, did you watch the trial? Did you attend the trial? Did you hear any portions of the trial? There's one very, very important fact that you need to consider in this thesis of yours, this whatever you are, oh Lord, this wanna be a made up story of yours. Once the head injury happened, at that very moment, Officer John O'Keefe was rendered what is it? What was it? Incapacitated. Comprendo? You comprendo me? Understand? Those are probably the only 2 languages I can say that. I used to know how to speak a little bit of Philippine and, Okinawan, or they speak Japanese, or arigato ne ohayo gozaimasu, ariku. Don't ask me what they mean. I used to know a curse word in it too. Bottom line is, I'm not gonna look up the word incapacitated for you. I'm not even gonna spell it for you, and the way you spell curb, you might need some assistance, but if I were you, I would look up the fact that Officer John O'Keefe was rendered incapacitated with what happened to his head. So if you want to say that Officer John O'Keefe slammed his head onto the edge of the concrete curb, comprehend me here, follow me. If Officer John O'Keefe got the damage to his head because he hit it on the edge of the curb, I want you to follow me. That's where you would have found his body. Comprende? Do we agree? I mean, do you believe that portion of the testimony from an expert? Hmm? Yeah. It's nobody's fault that you can't figure out how the back of John O'Keefe's head slammed onto the edge of a concrete curb, which caused the severe skull fractures, and then his brain slowly swelled while he froze to death. So, for all of you on the wrong side of the fence, if he would have hit his head on the curb, which is something, Trooper Paul, I mean, he hit his head on the curb. And then he is one of the only human beings that has ever been rendered incapacitated, who then decided to stand up and do a somersault through the yard or to pirouette his way to where he was near the flagpole. So let's just rest that one right there. I mean, come on, people. It would be different if you had staggering information that seemed that either could be true and either would work. The problem is what you're saying happened is impossible. It's totally impossible. But let's keep going because like I said, this person wants it heard. So I'm gonna sorry, I'm getting a headache. So the marks on John's right arm are abrasions from blunt force trauma. Okay. All right. I don't really know what you would call a dog attack. I would think it would be pretty blunt force trauma right there, but I don't know. But the blood cells only raised to the surface. Hmm. You see, the other interesting thing is the abrasions on his arm were only there a few hours. He couldn't have been left there by Karen Reed, and the abrasions still look like they did. It had been a while since he had been attacked, but it hadn't been that long. No bleeding because there was no breakage of skin. Well, I saw some pretty good puncture wounds on that first page, first picture. I would say there was some ripping into that skin for sure. And I would say from dog and even cat bite can look like that. Just so you know, even a cat bite can look. But according to Lally, dogs have upper and lower teeth. Well, yeah, but how they grip, a little bit different than a human being, Lally. Most of us do know that we are majorly different than a dog. And likely that John had tried to use his elbow at the last split second to push himself out of the way as he stood up due to picking up her vodka glass that he took off her low life, ever foul mouthed, drunk rear end. Did y'all see any of that come out in the trial? That he picked up the glass and then tossed it at her? Yeah, right. Okay. His head went forward, body twisted, and he went straight back. Head hit the edge of the cement curb, and due to the snow that had started to fall not long before, the road and grass was icy and so slippery. Wait. It's nobody's fault. You can't figure out how John O'Keefe slammed. Oh, she's telling us how he slammed his head into the curb because I was going to say, wait, it makes no difference. So let me read this again. Likely that John had tried to use his elbow at the last split second to push himself out of the way. Oh yeah, that's regardless. It's just talking about her being drunk and him stealing her cup. His head went forward, body twisted, and he went straight back, hit the edge of the cement curb. Okay? Right there, your story stops because right there, he's rendered incapacitated. He cannot move. He cannot move. He's incapacitated. Once the head injury happened, he was incapacitated. I don't know how much clearer one would have to be, but that's proven fact. That's a medically proven fact. And you want to argue with that, you got some issues, but go right ahead. Hold on, let me take a little drink. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Oh, hey, Margaret, I'm sorry. You should have seen how late I was. I have had a day, a day. So, let me get back to reading this because if I get sideways now, y'all, I've had a day, no telling. So let's see. Retrospective road and crest. Okay. He went straight back and he hit the edge of the cement curb, which he's what? Everybody join in with me. He's incapacitated at this point. Can't move. He's incapacitated. And due to the snow that is starting to fall not long before, the road and grass was icy and so slippery. So basically, you're saying that when he hit his head, he went straight back because the road and grass were icy and so slippery? Because otherwise, what does icy and slippery have to do with anything? He hit his head went forward. His head went forward and body twisted, and then he fell backward. Yeah, see, the flying backwards is something I really have a problem with because, um, I mean, well, it was more to the front or to the side. I I don't know, but just the pirouetting in itself, I believe that the people in Olympics couldn't have pulled this off. Trooper Paul had a vision. All right, that crime scene spoke to him. It told him all kind of secrets. Let me just say. All right, so let's see. Mm. Y'all, it sounds like I'm reading a novel. You think they wrote this as a script, hoping to get picked up by a movie or something? I mean, this is worse than what really happened. And let me just tell you, they've made a circus out of what really happened. But I knew it. I said that when I heard about the Sandra Birchmore case and the FBI involvement and same players, and listening to Liar Liar Pants on Fire Lowley, and he kept trying to insinuate if he didn't if he didn't outright say, he kept trying to insinuate that the FBI was simply involved because of Karen and her legal team. And no, y'all should all be about sick. Y'all should all be really, really scared right about now because sweet peas, y'all were being investigated long, long before Officer John O'Keefe passed away. And since he wasn't it child sex crimes, perverts, pretty much, that he had that desk job for, with what happened to Sandra Birchmore, I'm beginning to think, yep, they needed him to either shut up or go away, and he wasn't gonna shut up because I believe that man had some morals. So, that's just my opinion on that. So for all of y'all who think and the other thing is, what was it, Bukkake yesterday going to somebody's house? I mean, they still think that they're above the law. Let's go intimidate this woman, okay? Let's show what true intimidation is. Although we have claimed that Turtle Boy has intimidated. So there we go. All right, I'm sorry. Here I go again. Uh, Due to frantic life-saving measures by the paramedics at the scene, in the ambulance, and at the hospital, which included solution to warm the blood body, the left eye swelled also, and blue-black eyelids, which is very typical and called raccoon eyes. For your information, that SUV was not a sedan. It didn't have a trunk. The system of the taillights are mini molded plastic higher set. The data from her 10-ton truck shows she planted her foot to the metal instantly. Y'all, how did they make this up? This is, I mean, they've already tried to convince us in a court of law that this happened and they didn't figure out this is the most, oh my God. But anyway, she planted her foot to the metal instantly, doing 24.2 miles per hour for 62 feet. Y'all, where did this story originate from? Because it's, oh, mercy. I know it's typed out somewhere, and all they got to do is copy and paste, because that's all. I mean, this girl, I swear, or boy, I don't know who they are, the male or female, I don't know. But this was their response to every person who was saying something regarding, um, my video on Paul O'Keefe, driving drunk and, just changing a man's life from what he had known his entire life to what I understand to be not a very happy life right now. So thank you for that, Paul. Now also, this is still from this McAlbert representative. And the reason I say that is, if you believe this shit, you believe the McAlberts. That car was fitted with a screen in front of her face. Okay? That car was fitted with a screen in front of her face, reversing camera and sensors. My goodness. The beep, beep, beep was prevalent as she approached her boyfriend. Y'all, I can't help myself. This is honest to goodness. Somebody wrote this for a script. It got faster when she didn't stop. The data from her vehicle shows a sudden slight lessening of speed and the wheel turned slightly. Problem with that is they don't know what key turn it was, because that car had many more things, and y'all are off on the key turns. But y'all don't comprehend that once the police officers took possession of that vehicle, once it was driven off the 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 tow truck and into the sally port, and then there was a key turn, because when it was in the sally port, they pulled it back out again, and then they pulled it back in. Those are called key turns. But in the middle of all these key turns, this BS of how the car went, if y'all got a record of that, I guarantee you it was when the coppers had it in their possession. And we all know just how trustworthy every single cop in Canton, Mass is, along with every single trooper that's in that area. I hope it's not statewide, but it doesn't seem to me, it does not appear to me that they have to have very many good qualities to become a trooper or a cop in that area. So, mercy though, that was good. Let's see what else she got to say. What else is it? Let's see. Indicative of hitting a pedestrian. So all that I read was indicative of hitting a pedestrian. Pardon me. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Guys, she's got more to say. Where's it? A demo was filmed using her car. Did we see that? Did they show us that? A demo was filmed using her car and those exact data entries and showing that brakes brought the car to an immediate stop on an icy road. She didn't slow, stop, or even hesitate, as the accelerator data shows. Y'all, Lally is sitting on some major information right there, if that's the truth. Can you believe that? Why in the world would the Commonwealth hide that? And we know it'd have to have that information because we've been told what a thorough investigation this is. Okay, so we're reading a script for Hollywood. Problem is, Hollywood doesn't want this script. It's not anything. Hollywood's waiting on the real script. They're waiting on Karen Reed to tell them the real story because even in their most wildest imagination couldn't come up with this shit. Y'all have to excuse me. I seem to like that word. I need to quit, really. All right, let's see. A demo was using cars. So she didn't slow down. Okay. NB for all the dumb bums. I will explain something else in simpleton terms. Having the sensor in her car also means that when she slowly and very deliberately backed into John's car at 5:07 a.m., her I'm not saying that face was also hearing beep, beep, beep. Her right hand reached over to press a button, the auto brake assist that she switched off. The authentic Ring camera video shows the missing of the taillight, the piece of the taillight missing as she drove off. A cop went to John's house at 8:22 to see if kids there alone. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Her right hand reached over. Yeah. Okay. The video from his car shows the same piece missing. Karen Reed is a very crafty female who thought she was the most attractive thing on the planet and believed in her demented mind that all men should fall to her feet. Might I ask anybody who comes across this video if Karen Reed needs to pretend to be anything she's not? You see, people are attracted to Karen because of her goodness. So y'all swallow them apples. That's what attracted us. She is a victim. She's a victim of an entire city. She's a victim. I hope you all I hope the town is owned by her family by the time that they're finished with their lawsuits with all of you. And let them come in and change the policing. I'll tell you what. Yeah, y'all make me sick. But anyway, all right. Let's just keep on going on with this. I didn't realize it was a manuscript, but once again, I am going to say that to the author of this, they are not interested in your manuscript. They're waiting so that they can hear from Karen Reed because her story is honestly bigger than anything any creative screenwriter could come up with. She may be very crafty. I personally think she's pretty beautiful, but I see inside as well as outside. I don't think she really wants all the men at her feet. I'm surprised that she was involved with John O'Keefe because I would venture to think she's very particular as to who she dates. So I'm going to have to give her the benefit of the doubt that he is just a remarkable person And I'm beginning to wonder if he was not taken out of the equation because maybe he knew too much. With Sandra Birchmore, if anybody was led to the Sandra Birchmore, the other thing is, come on, people, let's not be stupid. Let's not pretend to be stupid. Let's don't let's don't sugarcoat any of it. My fear after hearing this, my heart is scared for however many other young people this was done to. It didn't just happen to just one. We have no idea how many laws have been broken, how many children have been harmed. We have no idea if anybody else has been killed. Most of the people that they prey on, nobody would even say anything if they didn't come home. The police were supposed to protect them, right? Mhm. It's beginning to feel like Officer John O'Keefe may have uncovered something, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and I'm gonna keep that for a while. That may very well be why he was killed. See, I kept thinking that there was no way that that was done on purpose because why would you do it at a house full of people? And I think that there was a plan to get rid of him, and I think that their hatred of the fact that he was going against some of their brother cops and mixed that with some alcohol and have him not bow down to their request just kind of led to a fight at that point. I don't know. But here we go. We're back to the screenwriting. She was lucky enough to be born a psychopath, so the killing of a human being was very easy for her. So they've just told us that the people involved in this are psychopaths. We know it's not Karen Reed because we know she's innocent. We know, according to the ARCAs, there is absolutely no way what this person said works. So that leads us to the real culprits, and the real culprits are psychopaths. And it wasn't hard for them. And we know that because they're still covering it up. They're sick. They're still covering it up. It doesn't bother them. I mean, they even, take Aiden Kearney to ch- to to court trying to say that he was harassing them. You got to make a video there said harassment. All right. Like any trial, you need to separate the vegetable soup from the chicken pieces. Okay. All right. It's very clear that she's guilty. There were two grand jury investigations, and the second run by the feds. Can y'all help me out here? The second grand jury was run by the feds. So Lowley not only lies in court, but you're saying Lowley lies to the feds? No, sweet pea, I don't believe it was the feds. The feds aren't the ones that could stop this from going to trial, other than to show who actually did it. And apparently, it's just not time in their investigation yet to arrest all those involved. So let's try that one. Um, Also, the stories that were told in these two grand juries were different. Everybody's story changed. Oh, June 2023. Well, what was their grand jury for regarding it? Yeah, I know me. Okay, Margaret. Fed's grand jury said to indict Karen Reed. Oh, the Fed's grand jury. When they went and lied there. Maybe that's why their stories changed so much. I gotcha. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, Granny here. Let's see. Obviously, the grand jury members from both had intelligent minds. You're just a nobody. Why, thank you, young lady or young man. I never professed to be an anybody. I'm just a nana. And if just a nana is a nobody to you, then that's fine. Just like if my opinion means nothing to you, that's fine too. If you don't like me, that's fine too. Um, I grew up hard. I grew up fast, and I have no problem calling it like I see it. None whatsoever. So I think the grand jury members had a little problem, and that was that the people lying seemed awful convincing. And I think that they go back to court, they're gonna have even a harder time because you have got a community of sleuths that are picking apart every single section, every word, every statement. Just let it go. That's what I thought. The OJ, his investigate Karen Reed is lucky that they're investigating, but Lally tried, didn't he? He kept insinuating. And maybe that was a pretrial motions, and his disdain and just his whole attitude. And it's like, dude, I mean, get real. Yeah, it's like, psh, but he doesn't care. He'll lie and lie. Okay. So I'm sorry, I got stuck on I'm just a nobody, and I think I cleared up that it don't matter to me. It don't matter to me. Who was that? All right, I've lost some of my what do you call it? Well, I never did have a good note. Oh, did I tell y'all that we lost my husband's phone? We found it. I found it. I kept dialing it, and finally, after 2 hours, somebody had on the border answered it. We'd gone there to eat. You just can't let us old folks out, man. Okay, let's see. So I'm a nobody. Here's how it goes. The more witnesses, the more prosecution had to put on the stand, the more trial drags out, and so the more work for her circus performers to do. So the megabucks that they get from her, laughing out loud. The best part about the trial is knowing that Reed is broke and she will always be broke, as John's niece and nephew will sue that monster to hell and back next. Once again, I need to state, because if anybody comes across this video and does not listen, please understand I 1000% support Karen Reed. I'm simply reading an opinion from the McAlbert side. I'm going to say it's the McAlbert side because if you believe this crap, you are a McAlbert. I don't think, for one, that it's any of your business or my business or anybody else's business how much money Karen Reed has or does not have. I find absolutely no humor in hoping that she has nothing because she's got some awful serious medical issues. The circus that was put on, please go back and watch the prosecution because the prosecution put on a lot of witnesses. Lowley spoke to a lot of people on the stand, and when he finished, nobody knew why they went up there. So, if that's what you call good case, then go for it right there. Um, but let me just say, it infuriates me, makes me more angry than you'll ever know of what you people are doing to these children. They've been through enough. They really have. What they don't need is to be lied to by the adults, which they are. They don't need to feel that vindication will win them anything or will help them at all. Being vindictive gets you absolutely nowhere. So instead of trying to give them comfort and trying to accept things as they are and to guide them to be the type of person that they know their uncle, as you say, JJ, would want them to be, they are filling their heads with how horrible it is and all the bad things about Karen Reed, even though for 2 years Karen Reed helped provide, helped do, helped be there, helped love and care for them. So what you've really done is you've pulled away a security that they actually still had. Of course, they're children. So once you convince them that she actually killed their Uncle JJ and you feed them on the evil thoughts and the lies and your disgusting story, I pray their future isn't. I hope they don't go the wrong way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I hope they don't go the wrong way. You're not being you're what you're doing to these children is so unfair. And for every last one of you that knows what happened to John O'Keefe, I hope you feel so good about yourselves because what's being done to these children, I don't care how you turn it, twist it, what you say, it's so unfair. And for the O'Keefe family, it didn't seem to bother them at all. Karen Reed didn't seem to bother them at all while she was with John O'Keefe and being his taxi cab driver, and didn't bother them at all that John and Karen seemed to have a good relationship. It was just a good thing nobody else had to get involved and help, from what I gather, just from that little comment that was made, oh, by that lovely couple. Kolakithis, was it? Yeah. The sick part is, I believe a very good man, a very good police officer, one that took his duties seriously and cared about them. He was tragically murdered by a group that called him their friend. And not one of those single people who know what happened has bothered to come forward. Everybody's shaking their hands and pointing the finger at Karen Reed, and she doesn't know. Don't you think for 1 minute if she knew, if she had proof? The other thing, I mean, if you just point out the things in this story that nobody in their right mind would believe for 5 seconds a cop would do. Number 1, no picture of the car. Number 1, again, no picture of the car. We have we have reports written a month later. We have Stop and Shop bags because you yahoos that live in Canton, Mass, and get a check for being police officers don't have any idea how to work a damn crime scene. I mean, now, come on. Let's we're fixing to get better here. All right, let's see. I don't know how Paul contained himself having to watch that thing enjoy herself very many of those days. She really did she not look like she was having a blast, damn it? I mean, she just enjoyed sitting there every day. Come on, Karen, share the joy. Have y'all even considered the fact that she hasn't even had time to grieve? I mean, I'm sure that she's dealt with everything. Oh, what does she mean by I have to remember the bad times so she can accept what she's facing right now? Um, if she said that, but that's where your mind would be. So here we go. The best part. Oh no, I did that again. I don't know how Paul contained him. I did that part. Enjoyed her days. Back at the beginning, Nettie on the courthouse steps and the announcement for the TV cameras. It was an accident. She didn't mean to hit him. You're only taking snippets out of a statement, if I'm not mistaken. Snippets, and you broke it up. And that's why you can say that, which is not true. She's never said she hit him. She has never said she hit him. And on the courthouse steps, either Yannetti or Jackson said the same thing. So I just watched that clip not long ago. She never said she hit him. Misinformation once again. Um, It was an accident, she didn't mean to hit him. Then along came a little spider from the bright lights of the LA land. And he saw big, big dollar signs, and a fable was born. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord, this person, oh my gosh. I hope they enjoy getting this out. Let's see. A fable was born against, hold on. My husband went to get his phone. Oh, sorry. Alright, he got his phone. My sister-in-law just retired her RN, 49 years at the same hospital. God love her. She worked with she worked in a ward where a lot don't make it. Trauma. Alright, so we got the spiders from the big dollar signs, and a fable was born against all of those. at the after party against every serving police officer in the state and against all medical responders for 50 miles. Yeah, we missed something. We we missed something. Oh, wow. My cousin Vinny, that's why he said that. He thinks that everybody was against him. No, I'm just kidding. My cousin Vinny, I don't think he did anything. Yeah, I tell you what, she a remarkable woman. Oh, mercy. Here we go. We got some more screenwriting stuff. The She Devil spent 1 million on a PR campaign to make a whole lot of numpties. Y'all, somebody gonna have to tell me what a numpty is. I don't. Is that a word? Numpties. 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 We're numpties, cop haters, and Ritas. Is she talking about my Rita? Is she talking about my Rita in Canton, Mass? Or does she mean something else by Ritas? 'Cause my Rita in Canton, Mass, don't you be talking about my uh-uh. My Rita in Canton, Mass is awesome. Okay, but let me finish. Let me do it without. Let's see. So 1 million on a PR campaign to make a whole lot of numpties, cop haters, and Ritas into her turtle mutant cult members. Congrats. And by the way, as much as she laughed, smiled, and smirked all through the trial, she's doing the same about you. Karen, if you ever watch this, I hope I make you laugh your ass off and leave me a comment, would you? That would absolutely make my day. If I could put a smile on your face, even if it's for just a few minutes. So please feel free to laugh your ass off at me, okay? I know that you didn't laugh your ass off in trial, so please laugh at me now, okay? I I can take it. It's 5 a.m. Carrie, Carrie, Carrie. Then she hung up because the play acting was meant to freak the hell out of the poor woman. It's about 5:05 a.m. She calls back, "John's dead. I think he might have been hit by a plow." At 6:10 a.m. "Stop, there he is. Let me out of this effing car." Well, you know what? The reason she wanted out of the effing car is she saw him. Why did you two girls not see him? I bet you that Jim McCabe had your attention, but you're too dumb to realize it. Y'all weren't focusing like Karen Reed was. Neither one of you. So that answers that. Whatever weed this writer's smoking, they can keep. Oh, I'm telling you, I don't want no part of that. I hope they don't sell edibles like that shit, because y'all got some issues right there. All right. She saw a body from the middle of the back seat as the two women in the front were looking either side and ahead for John when driving in the middle of a blizzard, pitch black outside, still no streetlights for that section of road, and the body was about 6 feet back from the curb. Notice the curb is Kerb. And once again, my question is, if he hit his head on the curb, sweet pea, knock, 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 knock. I mean, I want to go, hello, hello. If he hit his head on the curb, how did he get 6 feet back from it? Once his head injury was sustained, he was rendered, help me say it, people, incapacitated, which means he did not get up and do a pirouette. All right, let's see what else. Anyway, was 6 feet back from the curb at the far left side area of the family's front yard and completely covered in several inches of snow. Amazing supernatural powers from that evil eyed. She is not a devil. She looks really, really nice in a dress. I suppose you would defend that thing even if that body I suppose you would defend that thing even if that body was your child, yeah? Well, let me tell you, last sentence right there, you done pissed me off, okay? Right there, you pissed me off. Because if you think if it were my child that was laying dead in those people's front yard and I sat in that courtroom, it would have not taken me very long to get my ass up from the side I was sitting on and get on over there to the other side because they'd have been lying to me. I'd have been having one hell of a fight over that. There is no way that any responsible parent sits and listens to that garbage and believes that's what happened. Did you hear what I just read? This is what these people are passing along as the truth. It's okay. It's okay. Really, it's okay that you have your your screenwriting ability that you would like to break free from, but this is not your story. This is not what happened. I kept waiting for the family of John O'Keefe to show some anger at the evidence that was coming out, at the holes that were being punched in. Officer John O'Keefe was a police officer, but what did Proctor say? He's a Boston cop too. Jen McCabe, I hope, I believe that the majority of people are going to feel like I'm fixing to say I feel, and that is if I pulled up at my brother's house, my sister's house, my granny's house, anybody that I dearly loved, or hell, even a close, close friend, and there was a dead person in the yard that I knew had been at a party last night inside that house, would I be screaming and running in panic needing a cop? Would I be not thinking about my safety, but busting through the house hoping and praying the people in there are not injured and that they're alive and that they can come out and help my friend? John O'Keefe laid freezing in that front yard because of the people inside that house. If you can listen to what you wrote, maybe you'll understand how ridiculous this is. So, folks, um, I have no idea if that was interested or not, but I don't even, and I kind of battled with do I or don't I read it because I really hate putting anything out there in the fact of their thought process because of others that may would think that I don't believe in Karen, and I do. But I also know that we ask all the time, tell us, I just read it, and what I just read to me seems like the same BS story that they kept trying to sell. Is that not what I just read? I mean, I think that that's what I just read. Let me change where this is going. Hold on. I gotta save this back to my um uh, I'll have to save it in a minute. I'll just cancel that right now. Okay. So what do y'all think? Have y'all run across that? I mean, I think that this person has got to have it like on a notepad or something and they just copy paste. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that's I gotta take a drink. Somebody tell me what you think it is. Margaret, you're the only one talking tonight. Must have a bunch of haters out there. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, did did what I read make any sense to you? Because I mean, was it the medical examiner? Who was it? Oh, hey, Dorothy. Oh, thanks for saying that. I was just being, it says on here there's 13 people watching, but I don't know. Rhea, you just missed the whole thing. You've probably seen it. Here, let me show you, girl. Let me show you. I just did it so that I would have my live up there on it because, oh, yes, she is, isn't she? There we go. But the people that, the McAlberts, we're constantly asking them how in the world I minused it out. Hold up. How they come up with what they feel. And somebody put it, I think she does this all the time. It's 1,110 words. Not that I counted it. It's just that, whoa. Well, I don't really know. Oh, good night, Margaret. You sleep good. I So that's what we were doing, Rhea. They've done it before, and I just delete them because they obviously you can see how big they are. But I thought maybe if I just read it, then they could just not worry about it anymore. They don't have to keep trying to tell the viewers. They can just look in and see it. Oh, hi, Adam drives Helen. Yeah, I like, Oblivious Benson a whole bunch. She saw one of my videos, and she did some really nice by listening to me, and it made me feel really good. Yeah, no, facts aren't there's there are no to me, I can't remember if it was a medical examiner, whoever. I mean, bottom line is once his head hit, he was incapacitated. Oh, well, thank you, Adam. Um, so I don't and that the same thing with, Trooper Paul when he would talk about like, he would go through the whole thing about the story, and then it was it Jackson asked him, okay, about the head injury, and he's like, "Oh, well," and then he goes back, and then that's how he ends up doing a pirouette. But the problem is if you listen to the testimony, once he received the head injury, he became incapacitated. And had he gotten medical attention right then, he may be with us now. Is this the swelling? Yes, it caused all that. Dorothy, I did read, and it may be on Turtle Boys. I can't say where I read it for sure, but it's regarding, and that's interesting that you said that because I was so mad that they're suing Karen Reed, but apparently they're doing her a humongous favor because all these people are going to have to be, they have to prove their case, right? And apparently, and I wonder if this was ever in any of the pre-motion that went. I don't think so, but apparently, oh, here, let me just share. It said that Paul O'Keefe would have to answer for where John's brother's car got fixed because it was gone. Um, I believe 6 days is what it said, if I'm not mistaken, 6 days. And then them saying that it wasn't, obviously it wasn't hurt. Well, see, the other thing is their key, whatever their key turns or whatever they call it. Sorry, I have a bad headache. Whatever those key turns were, they don't account for. Karen Reed went to the hospital, right? So her car was at John O'Keefe's and she goes to the hospital. She goes from the hospital to her parents. They then start the car to put it on the tow truck. They then start the car to pull it off the tow truck. They then pull it into the Sally port. They turned it on to do that. They then pulled it out of the Sally port. Not sure why, but you can see that when that car was pulled in the Sally port, it wasn't the first time it had been in there. The only thing going on that morning was Officer John O'Keefe getting killed. That Sallyport didn't have somebody's vehicle sitting in there for any reason, so it gets the key turns get all messed up at a certain point. I'm not sure if they had the key turns messed up wrong otherwise. And the other thing is in their testimony, see, their timeline can really get them. But they had, yeah, just no way. They had some, what was it? God, I forgot my thought. Nana's having a Nana moment. I'll be right back. The squirrel took off and took all its nuts. I'm trying to figure out where they went, but I may just have to go another direction, start over. I just love getting to be old, let me tell you. I've never been one, I don't get mad on it, but sometimes, why, Adam, I tell you, my husband and I, mercy. I just kind of sit and watch stuff, but this stuff going on right now, I just, uh, and the fact that I can, I worry about my memory, but I can remember a whole lot of things. Like Jim McCabe gets up on the stand and I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't remember. That's not what I said. I said blah, 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 blah. And I'm just curious as to some of the questions that were being asked. She really should remember because they were very, very important, right? But she couldn't remember. She couldn't remember. And then all of a sudden it was um, the stupidest, littlest thing that Jackson would say. and she would just be as belligerent as possible because there was one word off or something, and then sit there like a little smart ass and looking at the jury. And you know, I know for a fact in my bones I feel it, so I can say I know it. But I feel, I don't have any proof. But then again, with knowing how they operate, I have to say that I do believe that I'm fixing to, yeah. I do believe that Bev wanting them to be able to speak about their harassment makes absolutely no sense to me as a judge, as a lawyer, as a, if I was a news writer, if I, it makes absolutely no sense to me because she's a judge that she wanted this gossip shit that had absolutely nothing to do with this trial brought in. And might I ask you why? I think that it was most likely because, yeah, but the thing is, with what we've seen with all of them, especially Lowley, and I mean, I'm not saying Bev talked to him, but Lowley, the way he behaved, um, you know that he told Jennifer McCabe that to get it in, all she had to do was bring it up. Once she opened the door, she could open that door and an answer, and once she did it, she could talk about whatever she wanted to. Tell me she didn't know that ahead of time. Just tell me she didn't know it, and I'll tell you you're a liar. There's no way. And the problem with allowing that is it absolutely, absolutely, positively had no bearing on the case. But what it could do is make the jurors afraid. Why would they want to go through that, make the jurors afraid? You know, and Aiden Kearney, you would think he's like in another country where there's a war going on, the way he's digging into crap. I mean, and then all people want to do is be nasty about it. Well, go look at that man's um, Turtle Boy News, the new. Go look at it. Go look at. I mean, I sit here and I feel that his information that he is putting out there to be so spot on that I've gotten to where a couple of times I've just gone on and read his article. That's been my that was my entire reason for doing a live. I think twice because what he says makes sense. And not only that, you know, he may throw out some he has some colorful language, and when he's within all rights to feel the way he feels. And although I agree with the majority of things that he says, well, and that's I'm talking about evidence and the case stuff, doesn't mean that I think, oh yeah, Aiden, go talk ugly about this person. No, but I don't think he's doing it to be ugly. I think he's doing it because he's damn frustrated, and he's up there in the middle of all of it. They've arrested him in front of his children's school bus. Was that? You know, they take him away for 60 days for something he did not do. No place else in America, no place else in America would anybody else have been arrested for what he was doing because it's perfectly legal. So I just don't know. So I think that sometimes I come on and I got a lot to say, and sometimes I um, rattle on and on. But what I really wanted to do is he's a bee in their bonnet. Yeah, and Lucky, bless his heart, Lucky lives there, and I'm sure that he lost his family members over it, you know. But what is going on? What's really going on there? Because you got Chris Albert killed someone in a DUI and injured the person in the car, and I can't remember, was it Lank that Chris that Chris Albert called when that happened? I can't remember. I think it was Officer Lank. Yeah, Adam, and a lot of people are not fans of Turtle Boys, and I'm not like, you know, I'm old, so I take it in a completely different thought process. When I first started watching him, it took me a little while, and then, as odd as it seems, living in the United States, but down south, I'm not used to the folks and how they speak up north, and it's a little bit crude, I guess. Yeah, Bev's brother was his lawyer in that case, yeah, and Turtle Boy pulled all this stuff up. So, and he's never complained that I do, read his stuff on here, and I don't know the laws like he does, but I'm guessing he would just ask me not to, but what I feel, in all honesty, I feel that there he's got this huge, huge following. But then he's also got people that for whatever reason, they really don't care for him, and the information that he's got is spot on. So, if I can read the article without his personal inputs and sarcastic words to the people, eh, then I just look at that I'm trying to spread. I can't do anything to help her. I can't. I barely can. No, no, I know, Adam, and but that's why I'm saying that I think that there's a lot of people. That's why I say I think a lot of people do appreciate his work and his knowledge, but I think a lot of people will not watch him. Which then, in that case, I think that he wouldn't care that I'm reading his information because I think people need to know. And I don't think, for one, you're not going to come watch me read an article he wrote if you watch him talk about the article as he got it. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just hoping that I can get people aware. Maybe one person will come across Nana and think, "Oh my God, let's look at." It's like who in the United States could get into this? From Oregon and way more laid back than the folks in the Northeast. Oh, I'll tell you what, they are wound, are they not? Well, hi from Arizona. Hi, Catherine. I lived in Arizona for 13, no, 14 years, and I'm not a fan of the heat. It's a very dry heat, and it was back in the late 70s, early 80s, and 125 degrees, and I smoked, and I'd go outside and have a cigarette, and I'd have to come back in and take a shower because I was miserable. And then, believe it or not, I'd go back out, have another cigarette, come back in, I'd take another shower. I mean, just could not get cool. But lots of people that live in Arizona love it. So I just came back. Let's see. I love that though. I mean, no, let me just tell y'all, cigarettes, my aunt, I love my aunt so much and she's so funny. Well, thank you, Dorothy. She's so funny. She says, when you know all this should be easy to quit, you know. Well, I started smoking, I was 15 years old. Well, hi, Betero fan. And I did it because, I don't know, get back at my mother for something. And she didn't care. Anyway. So one thing that I haven't been able to, it's the one thing I haven't beaten. So I've beaten a lot of nightmares, a lot of trauma, but damn cigarettes, right? So I've been sick a couple years after COVID. Before COVID, I didn't really get sick that often, maybe once, maybe twice a year. And the worst sickness I ever gets when the grandbabies get a cold, and then I just go all out, whatever. I mean, I'm out for a month when it just. Ugh. Well, after COVID, after the second, I had COVID twice, and after the second time I had COVID, I continually was getting sick, and I'm stubborn. I hate doctors. I have anxiety and panic. It's didn't have any of that until the change of life. Didn't even believe in it either, really. I thought people were just being extra. I guess that's what happens when you think people aren't really, you know, shame on me for I didn't feel I judged, but I guess in a sense I did. Anyway, so long story short, for a couple years now, I think I'd be well 2 weeks and six weeks or whatever. So anyway, long story. Finally went to the doctor, and as expected, I have COPD, but it's only stage two, and I know if I quit smoking, I'd be doing a lot better. So even knowing that, I'm still, but I just found out, and um, life's complicated for here. Uh, But it's always going to be complicated, right? So anyway, Nana's got to quit smoking. I hope. If not, I'll be one of those people that when I'm gone, they'll go, "Well, she had a choice," and you're right, I do. And for anybody who's never smoked, I hope you never do. For anybody that is smoking, I know how you feel that you want to quit and you're scared to or whatever. That cigarette has been with me, helped me. It was a crutch. It was a crutch. You start analyzing why you do it. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that. Let's see. Well, I would hope that I'm helping getting the facts out. And like I say, Dorothy, I think I'm very I think I'm pretty good about telling people that I do get my information from Turtle Boy because um, as Adam says, he's not everybody's cup of tea to listen to. But man, he's got the knowledge, he's got the input. You like to visit to your Nana's house? That's so sweet. I used to love to go to I have an aunt that I was named after. I loved going to her house. Here comes another funny thing. I'm named after an aunt, y'all. You wouldn't believe it. My mother absolutely, positively hated with every ounce of her being. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he can definitely come off as that, but I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be ugly, but up north it seems like it's a little bit more accepted Yeah, cigarettes in that heat. I mean, you know what? I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. But to me, it was like driving when we first went there. It was like I lived in Yuma, Arizona, so maybe that makes a difference. But you go down this hill, and I remember this hill. I can't remember where it's from, but as you're going down this hill, it's kind of coolish up there. But as you're coming down and you're feeling this heat, just just enveloping you, and finally it's like, oh my God, it's like sitting in front of, it's like sitting in front of, you sit in front of those campfires, but you get stuck on the wrong side, and all the really hot stuff's coming at you. There's a nice side, and then there's the, ooh, I shouldn't be. I'd get that one, and that's what it felt like to me. So I don't know. Hey, I can read what you misspell. I'm in Maryland, and yes, the North is rough and very crude. Thank you very much, Rhea. That's what I thought, and I've listened to him. I don't know how long he's been divorced. I don't know any of that personal stuff, but I listened to him, and he loves his children. He seems like a very caring father, and ooh, how about that? Born and raised there. I just think I just think and he's spot on. He's spot on. But back in the day when I was a kid, um, we had Walter Cronkite, Cronkite. I always say it wrong. Kind of like Massachusetts. I used to couldn't say the word funeral, but and that's why I say it the way I do. Otherwise, don't pronounce it correctly. I guess everybody's got a word or two like that, right? But back then, they read the news, literally, what was going on. So and so, so and so, so and so, and this and this and this and this. You could go check it, it was correct. Now you can watch ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, whatever you want to watch, and it's all cited on someone's friggin' opinion. That's not reporting the news. Turtle Boy is reporting the news in the new generation of how you report, which is you stand firm in your belief because you got the truth on your side, and then you give your opinions on all the people that are doing you wrong and what you think about them. So, um, there's that. I mean, you can turn it all and look at it in so many different ways. I lived in Utah for 5 years. By the end, it felt like every drop of moisture had been sucked out of my bones. So I'm assuming Utah is the same as living in Arizona when it comes to the climate. Yeah, not I've missed the people that I met, some of them. Oh, fennel seeds will help me feel better. Well, thank you. Oh, Catherine, yeah, see, Catherine, I've tried that. I have. God gets me through everything I've ever asked, or even when I didn't. And maybe I'm not being sincere in my request. I'm not sure. Dorothy, that's awesome. I kept waiting for when life seemed to calm down. I don't like fights. I don't like tension. I don't like stress. There's good and bad in everything, and try to find the good. But there's a part of me that I don't know. It's like when I get frustrated and I just and I have a cigarette, or my daughter, as I'm not going to go into the journey, but I'll say that I knew absolutely nothing about dealing with any type of addiction whatsoever, and she celebrated her soberversary. I told her happy soberversary for today, and it happens to be my granddaughter's daddy's birthday, the same, the oldest granddaughter. I messaged him happy birthday, reminded him that we'll always, love him. Asked him, I think he's getting near 50. I had to give him a hard time about that. Get home, look at my daughter. I said, "Did you message so and so happy birthday? Are y'all ready? Would y'all like to take a guess of what happened after I said that?" She said, I'll message him tomorrow, Mom. His birthday is tomorrow, Mom. So tomorrow will be my daughter's 7-year soberversary. And I learned a lot in that journey. I never put the cigarettes down though. So I hope that I do. I I love my grandbabies and I'd like to see them get older. So I hope. But anyway, it was my daughter tomorrow. So uh, I have to tell her tomorrow. But they call it birthdays, and I just said, you know what? It's a soberversary. I think I'm gonna make T-shirts about it. Happy soberversary. It's my soberversary. I don't know. Anybody that beats that are strong people. So anyway, then I can go down. I can go down some roads. As a matter of fact, I discovered when you get the urge to smoke, just 40 seconds. The rest is minute. Huh. 40 seconds. Maybe at my age, I think 40 seconds might seem like about 10 minutes, you think? I'm just kidding. Oh, Dorothy, I never thought you were judging. Mm-mm. No. It's the one thing that an ex-smoker understands is the struggle that it takes for a smoker to quit. So people that don't like Turtle Boy don't like the truth. Yeah, I think a lot of them are that way. He's got a lot of haters because, he is spreading the truth and so, but I'm just saying kind of like from my age bracket, it a lot of people think if I watch a huge variety of people in true crime, a huge variety. And I don't agree with every single word they say. I don't agree with if they don't like someone, I don't agree that I don't like them. If they don't, you know, agree with what I think, big deal, and vice versa. But as I say, I am in a little bit older category, so I thought, well, if I'm offending anybody, and also after listening to his mama talk to him and how I felt so sorry for him finding out his mama had passed. It's so sad. And during a time that was so critical in the Karen Reed trial, and he didn't miss anything. But oh, Catherine, that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Yep, definitely like to. And I know that you've always gotta be on your toes. Yeah, he does. But I don't really, I just think that he's just very colorful in his language, and I think he uses it kind of like I use the word shit sometimes, because that seems to be my go-to, which I really need to watch because my grandbaby is so much like a mixture of me and her mama, and she does everything, copies everything. Gets so excited when you realize she's doing it. Want you to watch her. And I can just see her the day she says shit and then looks at me and goes like this. I'll be like, "Oh no, girl. Oh no. Uh-uh. Hey, that's right. Snit. Change it to snit." I may have to try that. I may have to try that because yeah. But I don't know how I don't know how he is. I don't know how, but I do know that some people just don't like him because of his delivery and his language and stuff. And he truly, truly is a remarkable investigator because he figures. I mean, he's on it. And then that throws us to the Tells trial or the Tellus trial or where that guy. I didn't watch the trial. Uh, I didn't realize what it was. I didn't realize that we had an actual pretend conspiracy going on here. But when I did watch it, it was when he was testifying and where he just got to like tell a story, which I found so odd. And I didn't care for that, so I didn't watch that. But the cross exam was really good, so I watched that, and I watched the verdict because then I found out what it was, and then I was like, whoa. So it's kind of scary thinking that possibly um, he could be in danger. That's the scary thing. I know he's not scared of anything, but come on. I watched his live. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to scoot my chair back. I got chair. Okay, I got carpet, and then I got a thing to roll the chair on, which works a little bit better than the carpet, but it needs a little bit easier to go on. So if I have to move, it's like I have to raise the chair arm, turn the chair to get out the chair. Otherwise, I got to scoot that chair. And I've tried to do a background, but it says you need a green screen. And if not, it looks like I see this white reflection around it. So I appreciate you guys for stopping in and just, hanging in with Nana as I'm sitting here figuring out being a YouTuber. And it's not figuring out as much how to act because I don't think, I mean, I pretty much what you see is what you get. But And I don't plan on being, super duper professional because I'm not gonna get that. But I would like it to where you don't have to look at my mess in here. My husband built me a little thing for sublimation. My sublimation printer's on the bottom, and yeah, and then the other one. No, I don't know. Anyway, he built me a thing and made me some space, and so I've just got to move that stuff around too. Well, thank you very much, Catherine. I think I get on here and do it because I try to say it. Somebody around here and it gets misunderstood or disagree. Uh, but most of the time, the cases aren't interesting. My husband did listen to Uh, I made my husband listen. I told him that I was gonna give him the best comedy show there was, but he had to watch it on YouTube, and, thank you very much, the Maven. So I set him down. You guys, can y'all guess what I showed him? It's the best comedy show on YouTube right now, in my opinion. Oh, well, thank you, Betero fan. So, in my opinion, the best comedy show that you come across right now, I wish they could make it in a movie, um, and give all the proceeds to Karen Reed because I think it would be a bestseller. Are y'all ready? And I assure you, my husband did laugh his arse off. Trooper Paul. I mean, you can't help but laugh at Trooper Paul, especially when I told him what it was he was trying to convince us of. That's some funny business. Yes, she is a national concern for all of us because it could have been any of us. And I don't like how Lally and I guess I could be wrong, but was it in the it was just in the pretrial. Yeah, okay. It just was in the pretrial motions that he insinuated that it was Karen Reed's team that got the FBI involved, when in fact, the FBI, thank heavens, got involved because they were investigating the Sandra Birchmore case. Lally knew that. He had to have known that. He had to have known that these people were not involved simply for Karen Reed. And all those emails I read a few weeks ago, I believe it was a few weeks ago, um, where the DA was trying to get the FBI to back down. I mean, how comical can you get? And poor Judge Bev, even she couldn't get them to stop. Wonder what happened. Yeah, I think. But what I'd really love to see, I would so love to see one person, just one person that knows what happened to finally have enough guts to stand up for what's right. Because I feel that there's got to be at least one person. And if it's eating you alive, which it has to be, all it takes is stand up. Just stand up. Do the right thing. Tell the truth. We know there's people out there that know exactly what happened to Officer Paul O'Keefe. Just come forward and tell people. I can understand being afraid because of everybody around there, but if you're a trooper that's been involved, you can already kiss your arse because it's gonna be gone. Because just because they hadn't come knocking on your door yet, don't mean it. Just face it. If you've done something wrong, I bet the FBI's got your number and a file on you just bigger than you please if you happen to be a trooper in that area. And even if you happen to be a cop, a Canton cop. I got a feeling, doesn't it make the rest of y'all wonder? I mean, how much coincidences can there be? Like I say, though, my only problem is that if you were going to plan to kill someone, why would you do it at a party? I think they had differences with him, and I don't necessarily think that they started out to kill him, but I think that they might have tried to, um, get him on their side, convince him to come to their side, not talk about or tell on their buddies. And he said no. Who else thinks that might be it? And the other thing is if that's the case, then wouldn't you think as a family member, you would wanna see every last one of them suckers pay for it? I mean, be held accountable? That's just I think that's bothering me now worse than it's bad enough. If he was a stand-up officer, then I got a feeling that I got a feeling that he was killed because of what he knew. Maybe he didn't know what he knew, but these other people were trying to convince him possibly that, you might wanna look the other way, as Jackson says. But yeah, that could be true. That could be true. And, um, that may be why Jennifer McCabe said that Carrie Roberts said, and the reason that I'm saying it is I don't understand why they let Jennifer McCabe state something Carrie Roberts supposedly said when Carrie Roberts was gonna be on the stand and they could have asked her, because Carrie Roberts could have stated everything she said, and then, you know, people would have figured out, "Oh, what horrified Jim horrified." What Jim McCabe doesn't understand is that statement about how horrified she was, just horrified, just it's just horrifying. It's 2024 and I'm just horrified that what? That Carrie Roberts, oh, sorry for saying Reed. Carrie Roberts claimed John still loves some other person and was just using Karen Reed as a babysitter with benefits. Yeah. So I really do think John knew something. And so Higgins, he probably, yeah, his was over, which is, it's like, come on, Higgins. Yeah, she chatted with you. I feel sorry for that man, how old he is and how he was behaving on the text messages. I really feel sorry for him. It's very, very broken. Absolutely no. He, that's why I think it was a fight over Karen. Yeah, could be, could be. But let's look at it this way. If John O'Keefe thought of Karen Reed as just a babysitter with benefits, he wouldn't have cared to get into even a word argument with Higgins. I don't know. I think Higgins was actually hoping there was going to be something there, but I think that the message is explained. Ooh, you have a good cookout later today. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but I am fixing to say goodnight because I asked my husband to get some ice cream when he went back to get his phone that he left that I found because I kept ringing it. And then we have to figure out how to do the iPhone, Find My Phone, if you don't have your phone, because he don't have an iPad or any of that stuff, so I don't know. Anyway, I was rattling, but I'm getting awful dry. I'm gonna have to go get me something to drink. I'm gonna see if I might have some ice cream, and, then I think I'm not gonna do a live, but I'm gonna do some reading of some information and then just set it to where it plays whenever. I did have somebody whoops, I had somebody tell me that they don't like when I go live for some reason, so I apologize. Ooh, happy Labor Day to all. You betcha. I forgot. All right. I'm going to say good night. And I thank you all so much for stopping by. And because I can't seem to remember, and I've got to figure out how to get it in, like in the, I don't know where I type stuff, I guess. Um, if you have not subscribed to Crack in the Box or the Crap Goth on YouTube, please go find them. I think that they're in my how you can put channels you like? I think you can find them there real easy. But they're growing their channels, and I would love to share. So if you check them out, if it's something you would like to see, then please subscribe and I love them both very much. So I'm going to say good night, goodbye, and I may show up again, I may not in a couple days. Well, no, I'll do some videos. I'm just not sure if they're going to be my ugly face on here talking or if I'm going to be live doing it. I think I'm just going to read it. So I'm going to say good night and God bless on 24 years of sobriety. Absolutely beautiful. Ooh, DCPNW. Good night. Oh, you like lives? Well, I think sometimes, like on the reading stuff, that I probably do better. Like I'm fixing to read a report from, I don't know, Buchnick or Bucknick or whatever, Bukaki. I think those might do better because then, I don't have to interject my opinion as often. And that might would make it better for people that are simply looking for the news and not the, commentary. So, all right, bye. I don't know how to say bye. It's like, it's like somebody leaving and you just can't get your butt out that door. So I'm going to say goodbye for sure. Everyone sleep well and be kind. It's so easy to be kind to others. Y'all be safe. Yes, everybody be safe. I know a lot of people be out drinking and partying. Be safe. Bye, everybody.